offensively, it seems like you guys can be really, really good, but then also go through these roles where it's just tough to score. How do you get more kind of consistent on that end?
Right, it's something that we've really been working on for a long time, and something that I think is just naturally a growth part of our team, is something that I know you see all the young ladies in the background taking, getting up shots and doing the things that it takes to get to that point. And so I think that's something that certainly will continue to get better for us. But then we look at, again, from the discipline standpoint, the selection of it, the shot selection, how are we getting those type of things? Are we getting offensive rebounds? We didn't get as many of those in the Michigan game as we wanted to get, that we have in other games. And so we'll look at some of those factors too.
And you mentioned the defense. I mean, overall this season it's been pretty excellent, most through large stretches. I mean, what has gone into that, just getting this defense to like a top tier of the country level?
Yeah, there's an awful lot that goes into that, from a mindset standpoint, from an understanding standpoint, from a physical standpoint, getting stronger. But I think now we're at the stage where you're not necessarily getting stronger at this point, physically stronger at this point in time in the season. You're working to maintain that, but you have to understand at a high level. So film is a really big part of what we do at this point in time, because you can't spend a lot of extra time in practice working on those type of things. So the understanding piece is really, really a big part of what we do at this point in time in the season.
Does it help having so much like continuity on the roster when it comes to that understanding part, that they've played so many games next to each other?
Well, I think it makes a big difference when you have the continuity of not only playing together, but playing against some of the same players in the league. You can go back and you watch film from last year's game, let's say against Northwestern, and what did they do, and how did Grace Sullivan, who's leading the conference right now, she's played in 4 Big Ten games, averaging 30 points a game. How did she score against us? What did that look like? What do we need to do better? How is she doing it this year? Does it look the same? Is it a little bit different? And so I think certainly the continuity of playing against it, but also playing together, and then seeing us, continue to grow and build, and what does that look like? How are we improving in whether that's on-ball defense, off-the-ball defense, finishing plays, those kind of things.
Don, the next 3 games don't define the season, but just with USC and UCLA coming up, I mean, will we kind of learn something about this team one way or the other with the beefy part coming up here?
Well, this is a really tough, I think they're all tough stretches, right, in the Big Ten, and you come back home and you take on Northwestern, and Northwestern's a team, everybody plays a little bit different style too, and so now you're working to improve upon the things you want to get better on from your last game, but you also have to, we're really in a one-day prep scenario because of just the way the games fall, and giving our players a break and an opportunity to get ready, and so is a really tight turnaround in that regard, and then certainly get in and prep, and all of a sudden you have back-to-back 2-day preps for 2 of the best teams in the country. So hopefully we have great crowds, because I think this would be a fun stretch for our young ladies to be able to play these games at home, and so we'd love to have a lot of fans out for that.
It seems like Grace on offense has been like calling her own number a little bit more this year, and it's been really effective. Is that something that you guys talked about over the last off season, or is that just kind of like a good development that she is?
Well, I think it's something that we spend a lot of time working on, and she's put a lot of time into it. But it's also something that she needs to continue to grow her game. When she came here, in high school, she was actually a post player at times who stepped out and shot the ball. And for us, we want her to be a primary ball handler and shoot the ball and post up. And so, I think we're continuing to try to use her in all different facets of the game to maximize her abilities and efficiency, but also to kind of exploit opportunities, whether there are mismatch opportunities at different times within the course of the game.
I also wanted to ask about Mara. I mean, obviously with the injury history, you can't just like snap your fingers and be right back to where you were. But how have you felt she's been progressing this season as she's kind of getting back into the swing of playing big minutes?
Well, I think she continues to get better, and I think she's continuing to make some really great strides. And they may not always show up in a box score, whether she's boxing out more aggressively or moving the ball in the right spot or posting up a little bit more than she had. And so not all those things show up on a box score, box sheet. But I think when we look at it, we can see all the ways that she's continuing to grow and get better. And I think that's going to continue for her, because it means a lot to her. She puts a lot of time in, and she has a very high basketball IQ.
Any more questions for Coach?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Moral victories even exist in college basketball, but to go to the wire with Michigan and Maryland, just some of those top teams right now, do you guys take anything away from that? I know you'd rather win the game, but are there moral victories, I guess, when you can go deep in games against those teams?
I think it shows we can compete with the best of the best, but there's just things we need to clean up. I mean, we wake up the next day and we're like, dang, we should have won that game, and there's things that we go back and watch, and it's things we need to clean up that we do every day in practice, and it's just not carrying over. So it's all just in our hands, I think, as players, and it's just something we've got to deal with and learn and grow and move on.
What are some of the turning points in the game?
Yeah, I think just defensively making sure we're doing what we need to do, the rotations. I think offensively turnovers, I take full credit for that. Need to take care of the ball better. I'm taking accountability. So just moving forward and cleaning those things up and knowing as leaders, like that's what we need to do to win these games.
Mara, obviously you can't snap your fingers and just be completely back into game mode. But how has this season progressed for you coming back from injury? Are you feeling pretty happy with how it's gone, or?
It's been, there's ups and downs, but I've just stayed consistent in my work every single day and knowing that it's going to pay off eventually, and it might not be right now, but just staying consistent, and I have great people behind me that are helping me out and just keeping me stable. So just leaning on my people and knowing my work is eventually going to, come and show on the court.
The offense at times seems really, really good. You guys are scoring in bunches, and at other times it just seems to be really kind of stuck in the mud. Do you guys feel like there's anything that happens when it does get stuck in the mud in particular that you're working on, or why do you think that happens sometimes?
I don't know. I think it's just depends on the time of the game. I think it's hard when our movement, us as players, aren't screening or sprinting cuts or whatever it is. If we just get lazy on a possession or whatever it is, but we just have to know every single possession matters, and it's how we practice is how we're going to play in games. So just taking it day by day in practice and coming back today, fixing those things, and the nice thing is we have another game tomorrow, so we can bounce back and hopefully get that win.
I mean, on a positive note, the defense has been exceptional all season. Just what has gone into getting this defense from kind of a middle of the pack defense to one of the better defenses?
Oh yeah. I think it just shows that we care. I mean, like Mara said, every possession matters, and I think that when we are stuck in the mud, we can rely on our defense because that just takes effort, and we all put forth effort every day, like Mara's been saying, but also in the games, defense really just takes effort. You don't really need skill or anything to do it. So if we can do that, and maybe we're not scoring, we're still going to be in the game and compete with anyone.
Did you guys feel like there was kind of an identity shift over the last year to being a more defensive-minded, kind of elite in that area team, or is it kind of like you said, Tori, just the effort level is super high this year?
I think we've always had it within us. It's just now that we're able to put it on display and show everyone that we can compete defensively and offensively as well.
Our big week you had Northwestern and a couple of ranked teams. Do you need to get up for this big week, or are you open for crowd, or what's your
No,
mindset?
for sure. I was at the men's game last night, and it was a great environment. We need people like that to come to our games and get that energy behind it. I mean, you see what it does. They beat 2 ranked teams on this floor because of this environment. It plays a big role. So we're hoping to get the same. We're going to need every single person in here to help us out. But we know we'll be ready to come to play regardless. But yeah, it'd be great to have a crowd like that.
Mara, what's one thing you've noticed about Tori that's kind of grown in her game over the last year or so?
Yeah. Well, I think she's always been a very defensive-minded player, and she does that for us every day. But I think her offensive ability and just her confidence, taking the ball to score it, shooting the ball. You see her shooting step backs behind screens and things like that she might not have done a few years ago. But we have full confidence in her and her ability to do that. So, I mean, she shows up every day, and she's one of the hardest working players on this team. So I'm not surprised she's able to do what she does.
Tori, same question to you. What's one thing that you've noticed that, Mara, as she's kind of getting back to her peak of her powers, that you've noticed that you're really kind of excited about?
Yeah, I think last year especially, she became one of the best vocal leaders from the sideline, but now just having her on the court, and she's just able to stay calm in tough situations and just reassure us, especially as a team, that she's just taking that leadership role to the next level. And I think that's giving her confidence, and then obviously she can score at will because she has that confidence, and it just shows us that we do have the ability, and if we're led by Mara, then we can achieve anything we want.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.